Hi there, it's Wee Claire here, and this is Game On Expo, and I'm with the wonderful Samantha Béart. You might recognize them from the wonderful Baldur Gate 3. Yes, Samantha plays Karlach. Hello, Samantha, how are you doing?
Hello, I'm good. Good to see you, Claire. How are you?
I'm very good, and we're very excited to have you at Game On Expo. Have you been to Phoenix before?
I have never been to Phoenix before. I'm very excited. I've heard it's a very beautiful place. So I hope to venture outside the con and have a little look around.
Well, that's the thing because whenever you're doing cons, and I understand this very well, it's very hard to find time before and after to see anything because I know you're traveling back and forth and you do a lot in the UK. Do you get any time at all to do any sightseeing?
Because I'm a week delicate thing, I do like to arrive on a Wednesday and then I've got all the Thursday to have a little look around town. So that's really great. And then sometimes, a flight's delayed. You got a day or two to do nothing, get to look around. But yeah, of course, I do try and make an effort. Obviously, that's easier if there are friends in town. You get to go to, local restaurants, art galleries, shows, that sort of thing. But yeah, when you're at the con, it's pretty full on.
Baldur's Gate 3, of course, since it was released quite a while back now, has gone absolutely mental in a very good way. I've seen all of your lines expand over the last year and a bit. When you're an actor doing your thing, you're, just getting in there with the job, you don't have any idea how something's going to be. So I wanted to ask you, have you learned anything about this character, Karlach, by speaking to the fans now and meeting the fans? Something that's maybe a revelation to you from when you played Karlach as an actor to now?
Yeah, just how much of a comfort the character has been to people from, seeing, the bright side of things, making the most of things to the way she is dealing with the I don't know what spoilers anymore, so I'm I'm dancing around some of the key plot points here, but how she deals with the predicament she's in. And a really specific one I think is I knew that I was going to get to a certain emotional beat after a very big, let's call it revenge fight, but what I didn't think was from the player perspective, I think they're expecting it to be quite happy about it. So what happens is a real shock. And that's recently I've realized that what a rug pull that moment is, because she's been looking forward to this moment for a long time, and
I,
turns out differently.
I find it interesting as an actor when you're doing video games because you have the opportunity to not only just watch your character and just look at the work afterwards, but video games are immersive. You potentially have the chance to play that character and to live with that character. Have you had the chance to play Karlach, and how does that feel if you have as an actor? Have your opinions changed about Karlach? Would you do anything different, for example?
So let me tell you one thing. First thing I did when I got the code for the games, played as Karlach, did a small series of streams which allowed me to talk a little bit about process, how we put it together, a little walk down memory lane when things were a bit fresher. Um, I play first person adventure games generally, so this was the dream really, to play as you are the main character. Maybe that's the one good use of AI in the arts. I mean, you put your own voice into the game and play as your own main character. We did record lots of separate on your own origin lines for Carl. She does talk to herself, so there's some extra content there that you won't get if she's in the party, which is very cool to be able to say. In terms of my general wish for Carla is that she had got to go to the tavern. She does bang on about it quite a lot, and it's something I strongly identify with after a hard day's work. And playing these live games, these tabletop games with wizards that we've been doing recently, they've been very determined to keep putting me in taverns. So I'm grateful that I now finally get to live that dream.
How do you find doing the live tabletop stuff as well? Because that's super fun. I've not done it very often in my life. Like it's a completely different vibe from playing a game online. But how do you find it?
Yes, so I was lucky enough to have played a bit of D&D for a couple of years before we recorded the game. I'm so grateful I'm playing a barbarian. Don't really have to think about combat. It's, partly because of doing so many cons as well, you're constantly hearing your own lines, so back at you. So that's I'm still living with the character. That's something I can bring to the table. But yeah, I like this sort of idea that as soon as Tav's not looking, Like, the real personalities maybe start coming out. They're a bit naughtier and a bit. I mean, it's the Karlach without tabs a lot cheekier than I think with tab. Yeah, it's been lovely to keep it alive this way.
I love the fact that, and you're very in that lucky position as an actor that you get to exercise things through characters and through roles. I've only done acting classes. I'm not an actor. I did it for fun to try and understand when I'm interviewing people the process a little bit more. But it's so cathartic. It's so therapeutic. In terms of Karlach, was there anything? Not that you should use acting as therapy, but it was. But I think sometimes it can kind of get it conflates. But was there anything about Karlach within yourself that you, I guess, therapized or that you could exercise through that character? Anything personally that you exercised?
It's interesting you use the word cathartic because that was always my answer when people ask me why I act. I'm a very introverted person, and it was rather than finding therapy, it was a very safe space to explore emotions that maybe aren't fun or safe to explore in public without those boundaries. So I find it really enjoyable for that reason. Karlak and I have a red button for injustice. She gets to do vigilante justice. I don't, unfortunately. Just trying to do the right thing, she's been given a second chance. She's out of Avernus, and she wants to do things differently now that she's got this second chance. I think there's something in the big lesson for Carla and me is not to not to be morbid, but to, like, value the time we have on this planet, make the most of it. It's something we should all, examine at some point and then maybe put away. We don't have to live with that. But the idea is, say the unexamined life. And what a gift in a video game, in a in a fantasy role playing video game, to have that very real moment with her. I think it's just wonderful. Best character ever.
You mentioned that you to go back a little bit that you're an introvert. I also consider myself an introvert, but I don't think many people realize that about those who are in the public eye or for those that are actors or performing in any way. Tell me, how, as an introvert, do you personally reestablish the connection with yourself after conventions, after roles? Because as much as it's lovely, and I feel this as well, I am exhausted. My social battery is dead. So how do you reestablish that connection?
Mainly locking myself in my hotel room and having, a meal in my room. Such a good one. Couple cons now, they take you out to dinner on a Saturday night, which is just really nice to connect with people you're working with, even if you don't get to meet them a lot of the time. People on the show floor, volunteers, all of that. I think that's really wonderful. Just that bit of community, even if it's for a short time. Um, there's something about the show floor that again has boundaries and rules, and there's set hours. I have I've got a table, I've got a barrier. People are saying very kind things, and I'm signing my own name. It's really not the hardest job in the world. It's a very nice thing to do. You see the joy that your contribution to a project has made. It feels really special, and especially in times when people feel they need to escape for a bit or self-examine or whatever, and the fact that art can provide that and do it right now, I think it's a real privilege to be in that position. So yeah, while it energizes me, there's always a payoff, and it's quite exhausting as well. But it would be if you're meeting hundreds of people a day, promise.
Oh my gosh. It's I don't envy you. I mean, it's lovely. I think in that position, you're in a lovely position where you get to feed off that positivity, but it can also be tiring. But I
Yeah.
think your job is important right now. I was speaking to a friend recently, another actor friend, because we are not politicians or activists, but we are here, I think, to bring joy and to tell stories. For me, in my case, it's facilitating other people's stories. And do you feel that's important now more than ever? Because we're living in very strange, harsh times. How do you feel as a creative in these times?
Yeah, I'm with you that first and foremost, I'm a storyteller. I'm a collaborative storyteller. I facilitate the writer's story, and we tell it in a different way. And I think it's wonderful we get to work together. I think games is probably the most collaborative of all of the art forms, except we're siloed from each other. We technically work together, but we're also split off from each other. It's again, when someone asks me a tricky political question, I can only answer as a citizen, or maybe someone from another country that has no skin in the game. But I would always say go to your elected representatives first. They're the ones with the power to do something. So I do try and speak up on issues that I am directly involved with, like say union stuff, or making things better in the industry, or bringing, with It Takes a Village, putting devs in the spotlight who aren't used to getting any sort of attention for all the work they've done in our video games. So I'm trying to do it on a local level, try to have that influence on a local level. But I do like to remind people that apparently democracy is a thing, but there's people who are supposed to be working in your best interest. Please go to them first before you come to the artist. The artist is there to spark a question, but I think in terms of change, then that's got to be the person you voted for, really.
Oh, 100%. I completely agree with you. I think when I was younger, I listened to bands like Rage Against the Machine and things like that, and System of a Down. I'm like, I was like a proper metalhead when I was younger, and I loved the way that culture and creativity could spark questions, like you said, and then you go away and then you start to form your own opinions. Have you seen that with Karlach specifically in terms of the way people think about themselves when they come and speak to you? Do you see that with that character sparking questions?
A lot of people have realized LGBTQ in all sorts of ways, from gender to sexuality. I'll take full credit for that, obviously. No, it's wonderful. It's wonderful that before BG3 there's Dragon Age. I know folks that have discovered their sexuality, their gender through a very safe place to role play, where there are no real life consequences. Is that you just safe scum, turn the game off if it goes wrong. But most of the time, people have a great time on that. And as I said, it's a safe place to, all of this stuff is a safe place to play. That's the point. And I think it's just wonderful that in our fantasy sci-fi game, and fantasy and sci-fi has always been the most allegorical. I think people forget that. I'd say more so than a soap opera. I find a soap opera is actually much more out of my experience of human beings and how they behave. I find myself identifying way more with sci-fi and fantasy characters. I think that's the point. So yeah, if you just made people gay, essentially, and
I love that.
if that's the legacy, Claire, I'm happy to stop here.
I love that. I want you to print that on a t-shirt and
I made you gay.
I made you gay, and wear it to every panel at every con. Like,
I was gonna make one for me now. I'm a medium.
Yeah. I love
Your
it.
art will be better than mine.
And if we're on a panel together, I'm gonna put they made you gay and a little arrow just pointing to you.
Absolutely,
Amazing.
let's do it.
I love that. I love that. Now I've got to ask you a gaming question, because this is Game On Expo. So I need to ask you, what kind of gamer are you?
I love a first-person action adventure beat 'em up kind of thing. So again, Barbarian is the choice for me when I play anything from, I guess, Zelda to Assassin's Creed. What was I playing? Returnal, the hardest game on earth. I've been playing that. That's really fun. Recently played Alan Wake 2 DLC and Control DLC at the same time, which kind of blew my mind. I can see all the parallels happening, like a bit of story, like a Mass Effect, like a Dragon Age.
Mass Effect, so good. Mass Effect 2 is the best.
Yeah, that's my favorite. That's my favorite.
So
Yeah, so it's mainly those very story heavy action adventure kind of things.
And have you ever rage quit? Do you get frustrated? Like,
have I?
Yeah. Really?
We were saying at Glasgow at the weekend, and we were just saying that I think we were competing on how old we all were. And I my consoles, it was all, so my parents did not want me to play video games. Whoops, look where we are now. And I inherited a couple of generations old Amstrad CPC 464 green screen. You had a cassette tape. People at home will just think I'm lying. This is all true. You had a cassette tape and it sort of made modem sounds. It took 20 minutes to load, and I rage quit and turn it off. And I go, right,
I remember those days. I remember those days. Oh my
rage quit all the time.
God. Sometimes I used to play like wrestling games with my brother, like on a Nintendo or whatever console we were playing on, and if he was losing, he would reset the whole thing. If he was losing, it was so frustrating.
naughty.
He just didn't want me to win. I was really
Oh, of course. Is he older or younger?
younger. So
So
he's
my older brother would try that one. I'd be like, wow, okay.
oh no, I would just be like, fine, this is the hill you want to die on. Like, fine, okay, whatever. like I was fine with it. But yeah, we used to play
Oh,
games all the time. But I'm quite a chill sort of gamer. But horror games, my community like me to play them, but I find them completely terrifying. I love horror, but are
that's
you?
why.
Yeah,
That's why they want you to play them.
are you a screamer when you play horror games? Do you get
I'm not
frightened?
really hardcore. I can take it. It's with Alan Wake. There was all those flashes, all those yeah, and I turned them down because I was getting really annoyed. Prometheus was particularly terrifying for some reason. Alan Wake 2. I was like, for fuck's sake, Sam, just knock it off. Meaning Sam Lake, not me. Addressing him into the sky.
I love that.
But normally the jump scares don't get me. That's the word I was looking for. Yeah, I played Resident Evil, Silent Hill, Excavation of Hobbs Bower, obviously, which has got some of the scariest pixelated jump scares, I must say. I think it's the jump scares, but yeah, I've played like gory stuff. I'm hardcore.
I don't care for gore. It's because I'm like, yeah, that doesn't bother me. But
Yeah.
it's the jump scares, and I quite like watching people that are kind of dead inside, and they're like, yeah, it's not bother. Is that you then? Is that you?
Most of it, yeah. It doesn't make a very good stream, so I play really like I love a Life is Strange where I can go, I've got to make a horrible decision. Which one do I watch me cry?
I
Yeah.
love that. Now I'm very expressive, shall we say? very expressive. Now, you're coming to Game On Expo on April 4th to 6th. You're there the whole weekend. What can people expect when they come to meet you? Like, what is a meeting with Samantha Béart like?
I don't know. I hope it's pleasant. I hope
Yeah.
I'm in a good mood. Come and chat. Just tell me what you're about, what you like doing, why you're here. Stop by, have a chat. It's try and give everyone their time. I know sometimes there can be very long queues and everything, but it's them behind you that are going to judge, not me.
Yes. Go and meet Samantha.
They'll kill you, not me. So just
You heard it first. Turning the crowds against each other already. Samantha, I love it. I love it. Samantha, you've been absolutely wonderful. We're really looking forward to having you. And if you want to meet Samantha, please go check out all the details online. And where can we follow you online? Because I know you're not on Instagram, but where are you? Where can you be
I'm
found?
on. I have two voids to scream into. It's Twitter and Blue Sky. Just at my name. Very easy to find.
Got it. Go and find Samantha. And thank you very much for speaking with us. And we'll see you very soon. Take care.
Thank you.